Hey everyone, what's up? Yeah, I'm on here doing a live tier list um, just to try to get some content out as best I could. Um, but yeah, in case you guys haven't heard the news today, today being the 15th of April 2021, just drinking some Mountain Dew as well. In case you guys haven't heard, WWE released, as of right now, 10 superstars from the contracts. All 10 of them, of course, unlike, let's say, Andrade, who I will list on here, who I have on here as well. The rest of them basically have 90 days. They have a 90 days non-compete clause, and what that means basically is they cannot work anywhere else, you know, um, outside of WWE. They can't basically compete against them until until they're out of those contacts. So as I adjust the screen here a little bit, there we go. Make it a little bit bigger for you guys. But yeah, they can't, they can't compete against them whatsoever for the time being. As I go and tweet this, and I do apologize if there's any lag when this happens. And if I'm a little quiet, it's because my mom's home and everything, so I don't want to get any interruptions. Yeah, but the reason, I didn't want to do a poll. There we go. But the reason I'm also doing this tier is I have to get some of the things here. I do apologize for a moment. Get some of the hashtags here. Get some of the hashtags. I do apologize. Get them on here, and that way other people can watch. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Just getting all over a little bit of an allergy cold. I just got some allergies and everything, so I do apologize for that. Um, Hold on, let me do something. There we go. Yeah, but yeah, apparently WWE decided to do the annual post WrestleMania spring cleaning. And what's funny about this is basically WWE. Basically, some of these competitors were just on WrestleMania, which is really crazy. So to me, that kind of opens the door maybe for them coming back or something in the future. So we'll have to see what happens with that, if you will. And I'm sure people like the one I'm just linking up right now to send this to. JT's gonna have a lot to say about this. Just Alex Central, formerly the Lex Man, he had something to say about it, and so did OTRS Central. And I know Jason Solomon's gonna have a lot to say. Um, this upcoming week on our podcast because to a lot of people it's like why would you do this? Why would you know let these men and women go from the contracts knowing, you know, quite frankly, they may not have anywhere to go for at least 3 months. You know, it's it's crazy to see that. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to notice, and I do apologize for a little bit of. There we go. Sorry about that. For some reason, anytime I'm on Twitter, I lost my connection there. I do apologize. It seems that anytime I'm on Twitter or something like that, the internet likes to conk out. I do not know why. It just does. So I do apologize for that. Sometimes I think it's also people that have the other internet that's interfering with the signals and all that. So
I've never seen any.
I got them linked up. Like I said, this is a tier list that I want to do, basically based around what happened today. And the way this tier list is going to work is I'm going to list off. Basically, I'm going to put in the men and women, the images of the men and women on the tier list here, on each of these tier lists, as to where I think they will land after 90 days. And basically, the ones that are at the front, right near the name of the companies or the promotions listed here, they will basically more than likely, and I do apologize for any lag, guys. That isn't. I'm trying not to let that happen. But more than likely, the image of the person, like I said, near the name of the promotion, more than likely that is where they'll end up, mo- you know, at the end of the 90 days. In other words, that's probably the most likely destination. And the ones that follow afterwards, like the person that's after them, will be like the second most likely, and then so on and so forth. Basically, like the further down the listed, it's like that'll be the less likely. But like I said, if their image is next to the promotion's name here, like if somebody's picture is right next to WWE and number one, like it's the first one, that's probably more than likely what they'll go back to, and the same on, same on, same on, same on. So, anyway, though, guys, with that said, and again, I do apologize for any lag as I do something here for a second. I want to check something. Okay, just making sure. So yeah, like I said, the picture of the superstar man or woman that ends up at the front, that's like near the name of the promotion. That is probably where they'll end up most likely after 90 days, or within the 90 days if they get called back sooner. If you know what I mean, or if they waited out and then within 90 days, which today is the 15th, May 15th is 30, June 16th. So, but July 15th is basically where we should have a good idea where they end up. Like I said, some within that could end up back here, and by that time could have already made deals to show up here when the time is right. I think basically they can make deals, but they can't, like premiere or anything, if you know what I mean. So, anyway, with that said, let's start the list off here. And as you can see, I got a lot of the superstars here that will let go. I even put in Eva Lise because, believe it or not, I think somebody will take a chance on her. So, anyway, let's start with Miss Chelsea Green here. And I think Miss Chelsea Green, I think more than likely, is heading, not for the UK, although that would be a good fit, not Japan. I think she's going to land right in. Oh, it's a toss up. I think more than likely she'll end up. Whoops, sorry about that. I hate when they do that. I don't know why it does that. But yeah, I think more than likely she'll end up right here in Impact Wrestling because that's where her. And there we go again. I don't know why it's doing this lately. Sorry about that. A lot of mess up here. But like I said, I think she'll end up more likely, where her. Oh, come on. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, I think she'll end up right here where her boyfriend is in Impact Wrestling. But I could also, so that's probably be her most likely destination is she'll end up back in Impact Wrestling. Because that's where she got it. She made her name and everything. So I think more than likely, she's going to end up there when it's all said and done. After her 90 days. Now, I could. Let me see. Could I copy this? Yeah, I can. I could see her also being back in WWE when it's all said and done. As well, but I can't put two pictures of her. But I could see her also ending up back in back in WWE. But I think more than likely she's going to land in Impact Wrestling. That's where I think she'll be. Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, I know it's going to not make people happy. Although I think, the UK would be a great place for him. And AEW would be a great place too. I think more than likely he'll probably end up back in WWE because it's 90 days. And if word starts getting around that he's considering All Elite, as a new destination, like I told Alex during his Q&A, his two-part live stream today where he talked about the releases and then he did a Q&A. I told him in a super chat that I've got a feeling he may be back because Vince and Triple H will not allow him to go to All Elite Wrestling where they know they'll make him a star. So, yeah, I think Joe more than likely. I could be now. Here's the thing: I could be wrong about these. More than likely, I could be wrong about them. But I think yeah, Joe's gonna probably end up back in WWE because again, even though he could end up here, even though I think he could fit in AEW, I think he's more than likely heading to back to WWE. Because, let's be honest, there's a lot of, superstars that, got released and, during this time period that, everybody was shocked about and then all of a sudden they came back. So I think more than likely he's going to end up back in WWE because, again, like I said, I got a feeling that if WWE, if Vince and Triple H hear that he's considering, going All Elite, if you will, that's going to be enough for them to be like, oh no, we know what's going to happen there, let's bring him back. And I think it's also to give him enough time, time off, if you will, to get himself back in shape, and then they're going to bring him back because, again, they've done this before, and I'm not going to be surprised if they end up doing it again. Okay, Billy Kay. I think Billy Kay. I think more than likely Billy Kay. I see Billy Kay going to Impact Wrestling. I see that. Now she's also somebody like Joe that could be back within 90 days. And everything. She could be back, but if not, I see her following Chelsea Green to Impact Wrestling. Mickie James is another one that I think I'm going to put her in the Indies. Maybe I should have renamed that the NWA, but we'll just say the Indies, NWA, for short. So that's why I think she'll end up the Indies, NWA, because that way she can be with her husband. Again, she could end up, actually, I'm going to put her in AEW. I think that's probably more than likely because, Tony Khan wants Nick Aldis. He wants him. So I think what better way to get Nick Aldis than to get his wife? To get his wife, on the roster. What better way to do that? So I think, yes, more than likely she's heading to AEW. But I think the Indies will be like a secondary home for her as well. Ivelisse, I think Ivelisse is more than likely, Ivelisse, I'm going to go, believe it or not, I think I'm going to go with Ring of Honor for Ivelisse. I think Ivelisse right now, Ring of Honor, I know some people may say she's not going to be able to work out there as well, but you know what? I can see Ivelisse being put into Ring of Honor, being put into the Women of Honor tournament, and that might be the company that finally, puts reality on her. So, more than likely, I think she's going to go to Ring of Honor just to be part of that tournament and maybe even be part of the company. Kalisto. Cristo or Samurai de Sol, I see going to AEW if he doesn't come back. He's, again, just like Joe and Billy, is one of those that's in that window, but more than likely he's going to end up in AEW. Because, there's no doubt Tony Khan's going to want to get that dream match with him and Ray Phoenix. So I think, yeah, there's no doubt he's heading there. Mojo, I think, is going to end up in MLW. I think that'd be a good fit for him. I mean, I can see him working out in Impact because, Matt Cordera is there, Zack Ryder. But I see him fitting mostly in MLW because that'd be perfect for him. Maybe they can bring him in as part of the Contour unit. I think that would be good too. Peyton Royce, I can see probably an Impact to be with Billy, but I think to kind of maybe build upon that friendship, kind of being at a crossroads, I think Peyton's going to end up in AEW. I think that's where she's heading. So Peyton Royce, I see going to AEW. Wesley Blake, this is going to be a crazy one, but I see. Oh, I did do Mojo, so I guess I can do him twice. Wesley Blake, I can see going to Japan. I can see Wesley taking the same route that C.J. Parker did, the new Juice Rock. Sorry, gonna be quiet for a second. Sorry if I'm stalling for time. You know, man, I'm gonna save this and I'm gonna. Sorry, I had to be quiet. My mom went through the hallway. I don't want her to think anything wrong. She's one of those people that's kind of inquisitive about a lot of things. She likes to ask questions and stuff. But like I was saying, gotta wait till she's settled down. Which cameras would rotate? Sorry for the silence. Hold on for a second, I do something special. Sorry for the silence. I said I'm talking about by improvising opportunities and, how to work around things. And sorry for the silence. Like I said, my mom is the kind of person that's inquisitive about things, so, I have to work around that. You know how it is when you live with your parents or your family. So yeah, sorry about the delay, guys. Sorry about that. But anyway, like I was saying, what was I? Oh yeah, I was gonna try to save save the thing, but I guess I'm in the process of doing it. I can't do that. But like I said, Wesley Blake, I could see going to Japan. If he doesn't end up anywhere here. I mean, honestly, if I was to move Wesley, I would say he's gonna end up here or here. These will be his next two choices, or maybe even down here in MLW, maybe even the Indies. But more than likely, I'd see him going to Japan, and like I said, going the same route that C.J. Parker did. Then Andrade, I can see going to back to triple. I see him going to AAA. That would be a big get for them. And then since I have another picture of him, so I could see him going there. So I see Andrade. This is what I look at. Excuse me. I wonder what this is. Nothing. But anyway, yeah, I see him going to AAA, but I can also see him going here and AEW. So the top three I see would be AAA being, of course, where the picture's at now, and then New Japan and AEW. I see as being the top three he would land. Bo Dallas. I can definitely see going to Impact. I could see that. Honestly, I can. I can see him also going to AEW. Like, I can see him going here as well, but more than likely his destination will be there. And then we got an extra picture of Mojo. And like I said, Mojo I think is more than likely going to end up in MLW as like his primary home. But I think his secondary home, honestly, this is just me, but I think his secondary home will be Impact as well. Because you got to remember, Impact signed a lot of guys, a lot of men and women, during after that last Exodus and all that. So I definitely see Mojo ending up there. But yeah, that's basically the list of people where I think they may end up going. As you can tell, I left the Indies, the UK, and the unknown blank. I could see Wesley Blake on the Indies for a bit, as well as maybe making an appearance in MLW, AEW, and Impact, and even Ring of Honor. But I think his destination is New Japan. To me, he'll take the CJ Parker route, kind of rebuild himself. Mojo, like I said, I think his primary home will be MLW, and then he might make a stop in Impact, and maybe even show up here. He might have a time on the Indies, but I think the primary home for him will be MLW. Andrade, I definitely see him in AAA. He might make a stop in New Japan when things get better, and maybe even an appearance in Impact as the top 3 destinations, but AAA more likely. Ivelisse, I definitely see appearing in Ring of Honor, part of the Women of Honor tournament, and maybe even being signed there. And then I see her probably more than likely going to Impact for a bit, maybe MLW and AAA, but I'm going to go Ring of Honor, Impact, and then because they're stubborn enough to do it, I'm going to say WWE is going to take a chance on her. Because if there's any place they can shake her up, it'll be WWE. It'll be Ring of Honor and WWE that would shake her up, and maybe AAA. But I think more than likely, WWE would be the place. Ring of Honor, WWE, the top of the list to really knock some sense into her. Because believe me, she has not met Stephanie McMahon, and yet if she has, then I haven't heard about it. But I guarantee you that if she finally does meet Stephanie, or meet some of the female trainers for the Performance Center, yeah, that'll be a wake-up call. So I definitely see Ring of Honor and WWE as being one of the places that would knock some sense into her should she land in both areas, or in one of them anyway. Like I said, the tournament, I think she'll be in ROH for that, and maybe maybe get signed because of it. But if not, then WWE is the next stop, and that will knock some sense into her. Chelsea Green and Billy Kay, I definitely see being Impact bound along with Bo and Mojo. And Mojo kind of making an appearance there. But I can see Chelsea going to, like I said, going over to here as well, to AEW. But I think she's more than likely Impact bound because that's where she got her start, and that's what her boyfriend is, if you will. Billy Kay, I can see the same way, but more than likely, I think she'll be Impact bound just for the time being. So, Peyton Royce, I definitely see AEW bound, as well as Samurai del Sol, Kalisto, and Mickie. But I can also see Mickie being Indies NWA bound as well because of her husband. But I definitely see her being a top pickup for them. Kalisto most definitely. And I can also see Kalisto probably, more than likely, if I can get down here, going to AAA as well to kind of, go back to where it started. But like I said, I see him most likely in AEW. And Peyton Royce, I see seeing AEW, but she might make an appearance in Impact to team up with Billy and reform the Iconics there to go after the Knockouts tag titles. But I think a story would be perfect there, where two best friends are part of two opposite companies. And then, like I said, Wesley Blake, I could see him doing a little bit of Indies, maybe making an appearance here, and maybe an appearance here and here. But I definitely see him more likely heading to Japan and taking the CJ Parker route, to kind of rebuild himself, get himself reborn and all that. So I definitely see that. I definitely see that more than anything. So, but yeah, I could see him doing that down the line. And in Joe, like I said, I think he's probably like the wild card in this. I think, he's going to be like a top priority for WWE, you know, because I think part of him being let go isn't because, they can't afford him. It's because, they want to make sure he gets enough time to heal up from any injuries, prolonging injuries that he has, and that when the time is right, they bring him back and, you know, he gets inserted into a main event picture again because, like I said, if they hear he's going to do this, that he's going to go all elite, that's going to be enough for Triple H and Vince to grab their attention to be like, oh, no, 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 we can't let that happen. Bring him back. And that's what they're going to do. So I definitely see Joe, like, I could see him being a top pick, or top pickup for AEW if WWE doesn't bring him back. But I think more than likely he's going to go back. And the same for Billie Kay. Billie Kay right now, like I said, is impact bound with the possibility that she could team up with Peyton if Peyton makes the trip down there and do the Iconics thing there for the Knockouts tag titles. Thus making the claim that they're the only team to win the WWE Women's Tag titles and the Impact Wrestling Knockout Tag titles. That'd be something to go with. But Billie, like I said, her most likely home would be Impact, but she would also be somebody that still would be on WWE's radar to, pick up and bring back in the long run. But for the time being, this is how I see things going. From a more realistic, in my opinion, a more realistic, legit point of view. So, in closing, as I save this and I put done, and we're going to look at them right now. So in closing, this is how I look at it legitimately. So I see it more legitimately. I do apologize for the commercials. This is what I see. Legitimately. I'll get rid of that. This is what I see. Like I said, more than likely, I see Samoa Joe probably going back to WWE, because I think this release is to give him time to heal up properly from his injuries so they can get him back. But if not, I see him also AEW bound. Mickie, I see AEW bound more than likely, but also Indies NWA bound. Kalisto and Peyton Royce, AEW bound, no doubt. Chelsea, Billie, with her also being the same thing as Joe, where she could end up going back, if you will, if they want her. I don't know why I went back to that. Sorry. The one thing about these, we can get it back there. There we go. Like I said, with Billie, like I said, I see her definitely in the same position as Joe, to where, she could go back to WWE, but I see her more than likely going to Impact because, Joe would be like basically the top priority. Bo Dallas, I definitely see Impact bound, as well as, and I see Mojo Riley probably poking his head in there once in a while. Evilise, I definitely think Ring of Honor bound because of the Women of Honor tournament, and possibly being signed with them afterwards. But I also see Ring of Honor being a wake-up call for her, as well as I definitely see her being signed with WWE because that's stubborn, to sign someone like her. And I could see both companies though being like a wake-up call because those in charge are not going to put up with the bull crap. They're going to want to keep her around because of how talented she is, but they're not going to deal with the bullcrap, and those will be like wake-up calls for her, in my opinion. But I see her more than likely Ring of Honor, Women of Honor bound for the time being, and then if she's only there for the tournament, and then that's it, I see her WWE bound, and that's, like I say, both going to be a wake-up call for her in a big, big way. Wesley Blake, I see New Japan bound, as well as I see him going the CJ Parker route, where he's gonna, he's gonna reborn himself. He's gonna reinvent himself and everything, and probably go by a new name like CJ is going by Juice Parker now, or Juice Robinson, I should say. So I see him doing that. I also see him making him a stops in Indies, maybe to make an appearance in MLW, as well as maybe Impact in AEW. You know, maybe for AEW Dark, and maybe a couple appearances, maybe one or two appearances here. But I see him more than likely being New Japan bound, and like I say, going that route that you know C.J. Parker went to become Juice Robinson. Mojo Riley, like I said, I think more than likely he's MLW bound, with an appearance maybe with as well as making an appearance in Impact Wrestling, popping his head in there as well as in AEW, but and maybe even Ring of Honor. But I think it's most likely his new home is going to be MLW, and maybe he'll make him part of Contra. Who knows? And Andrade, like I said, more than likely he'll be AAA bound. He might stick his nose in Japan when things are better, as well as Ring of Honor. Again, this is what I look at. I look at AAA, New Japan, and AEW as being like the top three places he'll show up, but more than likely his primary home will be AAA, in my opinion. But yeah, that's that's pretty much it for my tier list on basically the wrestlers and where I think they may end up next. In my opinion, within within the 90 days, within or at the end of the 90-day non-compete clause. So let me know. So yeah, that's about it, guys. So let me know what your thoughts are down below. Comment if you like. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you. Thank you all for joining me live on this late night edition. I do apologize for some of the quiet moments. And of course, like I said, I'm home with my mom, and my mom's off because of what happened out of school with the COVID situation and a kid being, around people that tested positive. So yeah, there's nothing she can do about that. So she has to, do what they tell her. She has to go with what they got or what they give her. So again, though, guys, thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. Check me out at patreon.com bwroses for for the support. $1 tier get you a shout out and recognition. $3 tier get you a shout out, recognition, and exclusive video content you can't get anywhere else except on Patreon, and for a limited time at divanart.com under the BVW 1979 page. But you have to have mature settings on that DeviantArt as well. Also check me out at EW Rose's discussions on your various podcasts location, favorite podcast outlets like Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, if you will, Radio Public, Player.fm, you name it. A majority of them, except for Pandora, still working on that. And that's about it, guys. So, and also check out my other channel, Brian's Discussions, for some content I still got to build on that down the line. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. Really appreciate it. And until next time, take care. God bless. Get vaccinated if you can. And I will talk to y'all later. And I am out. Have a good night.